We're back. This is 2 in a row. And we're thinking about calling this series, if that's what it's going to turn into, Simple Truths. But before we do that, there's a few questions that we should ask. And I was thinking of a story just before we started recording this video. Yes, it is a story from the Bible. We talked about the Bible last time. We talked about it being an old book, but just because it's old doesn't mean it's not needed or it's not reliable, just like the sun. It's old, but it's hot, and you're glad it's there. And we're really hoping to see a lot more of the sun in a few more months. We're looking ahead to spring, and we're glad it's there. And we're really glad, I am personally glad that the Bible is there. Old as it is, still reliable, still hot. So we talked a lot about that history. And we talked about accuracy. We talked about a track record. And but even calling something simple truths, wow, there's just something about that today that really hits a real spot in people, that really stirs up things, because truth is a real touchy topic today. And I was thinking of this story because I mentioned this man in our last video. His name's Pontius Pilate. He signed the death warrant for Jesus Christ. And he had an opportunity to put Jesus on trial face to face as the Roman authority at that time. And he asked a really good question to the right person. He asked Jesus, Pontius Pilate asked Jesus, what is truth? And then something really unfortunate happened. He turned around and walked away and didn't wait for an answer. And that would have been really good to hear the answer to that question. I think it probably would have been something very similar to what Jesus told his disciples earlier on when he said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. But Pilate didn't get to hear that answer because he didn't stop to listen. In our time, the question probably wouldn't be, what is truth? The question would be, is there truth? That is a hot topic today. Can anything be known to be true in and of itself? Is there any truth at all, or can I decide what is true and what is not? Well, I like to boil things down to the simplest possible form to look at questions like that. And I think just looking at the world around us and at science and at how things work answers that questions really well. I mean, just one very simple example. Okay, there's a law called the law of gravity. We all understand that. You throw something up in the air, it comes back down again. Doesn't matter how many times you throw it up, it comes back down. And you can want to throw something up in the air and have it not come back down. Unfortunately, there's a law called gravity that's going to make it come down every time. Now, whether you choose to believe that or not, well, I guess it is your choice. However, gravity is still there and it will not change. That's not a subjective truth. That's not something I can turn off and on or make a decision and say that's going to work or it's not going to work. It works all the time. It's one of the principles that runs this universe and makes it work and makes life possible. There's a lot of other laws out there, laws of physics that cause everything to work and that give conditions for life and so on and so on. And everything runs on those principles. And we have discovered through science that our universe is a very fine-tuned machine. You change one small detail, change one of those laws, and there are lots of them, that make the universe work, that make life possible. And guess what? Everything breaks down. And you can choose to believe that those things are there, or you can choose to not believe that those things are there. It doesn't change it. It is still there. And I know it's a bit of a leap, but I believe that not just in the physical universe in the sense of gravity or thermodynamics or all those types of laws, but life in general is based on principles. Some things are true whether we believe it, whether we don't believe it, whether we want it, whether we don't want it. It just is. It works that way every time. And I wanted to just bring that point up because before we go on any further, that's an important point to talk about, because we're going to be exploring some very specific truth claims. And unless we consider the fact that there actually is truth and we can know it, then, well, there's nothing more really to talk about. And how do I know something's true? Well, whether I actually want to believe it or not, whether I want it to be there or not, whether I hope it's there or would rather do without it, it's going to be there no matter what. No matter what circumstances or conditions, it's just going to stay the same. And that's one of many ways that you can find out if something's true in life. Is that, even though I make different choices, it doesn't actually change what's real when I look at it and when I come. Now that's a very simple, very, very simple look at this. If you want some deeper exploration of that, again, you can check out Ravi Zacharias International Ministries, and they have all kinds of topics that you can explore, and they look very deeply into these things. rzim.org. I highly recommend it, and I hope that you'll take a minute and think about that and consider that, and we will be back very soon if we're going to get into some more detailed examination of some specific things. I hope to hear from you.